So, if you've ever had a baby and you brought your new baby home, your friends probably tried to encourage you with words like this: welcome to your new normal. And your new normal at the time was sleepless nights, lots of diapers, and a crying baby. And that might not have been very encouraging to your heart in the moment. Well, life in Christ in the new normal is massively encouraging, and we're going to talk about why. You've probably heard of seasonal affective disorder. The acronym for it is SAD, S-A-D, seasonal affective disorder. People who live in the north or south near those poles, it's gloomy during the day most of the time, during most of the year, and it massively affects their disposition, and they're sad. Well, I made up something called seasonal obsessive disorder. It's something I made up to remind myself of all the hope and encouragement that I have in Christ. SOD, seasonal obsessive disorder, is where you're preoccupied with finding a name for your temporary circumstances, defining them, comparing them to others, and sadly, coveting a season that you were not given. So I seasonally suffer from seasonal obsessive disorder, and I self-medicate with things like complaining and daydreaming. And I say things like, when this is over, or when this starts, or when this gets fixed, or when this changes, or when the first day of school happens, or no, when the last day of school happens. Does this sound familiar to you? It's this myopic vision of what it is your life is all about. Well, the missional vision of motherhood, with our sights set on the return of Christ, reminds us that we are all currently in the season of life. We are all in this season, from empty nesters to singles, to widows, to new moms, to high school students, and every other woman. It's true of all of us if you are in Christ. We get to live outside the garden. We get to live. This is our season of life. Adam and Eve were exiled from the garden because of their sin. They deserved death, clearly because of their blatant rebellion against God, our Creator. But God had mercy. They lived outside the garden, and they lived with a promise echoing in their hearts that God's mercy would triumph over their sin. And remember Genesis 3:15, where God promised that the seed of the woman would crush the head of the serpent. And God always keeps his promise, and this promise was no exception. So while God's people waited to experience his ultimate deliverance from sin, they got to glimpse pictures of his deliverance over and over again throughout the Bible.